All right, guys, welcome on in. Another episode of Sunday's A Call to the Pen. Today, we got a legend in house. It's the one and only Big Kep 13. I stumbled across Kep. I can't remember exactly how I met Kep. I think he came into my channel, maybe, out of nowhere. I can't remember, to be honest. Maybe Kep can remember his version of it. But either way, over the time, Kep and I have forged a bond and a friendship inside and outside of the Twitch world, which I'm grateful for. But yeah, let's get Kep in studio right here, right now, and get this show underway. Boom, there he is. You frozen? Nope. Can you hear me? Bam, there he is.
I hear you.
Okay. So yeah, man. Maybe you can. How did we cross paths? I don't. Let me actually turn it. Let me turn this music down here a little bit here.
I think we matched on Grindr and we started talking from there.
Oh my God, that was not supposed to slip. Anyway,
I believe you just started streaming what, a little over a year ago, maybe. I think I just subbed for like 10 months, but I know you've been streaming. You started streaming towards the tail end of
18. Yeah, because I
had just started streaming MLB in 18, so at the tail end of 18, I'm on late night, and I want to check out streamers, and I'm pretty sure I came to your stream first, and
yeah,
I enjoyed your energy, your tone, your just your overall aura.
Yeah,
like right away.
And I remember,
and I think you saw the check mark, and
yeah,
you were like, "Ooh."
That definitely stood out. I remember when you're starting out as a streamer, and I always lose sight of this now because I have the check mark. But when you do lose sight of it, but when you do start out as a streamer, and a check mark does come in your channel, especially when you got 3, 4, 5 people watching you. You definitely take note, man. And it's like, whoa, like that's everybody's goal, is to get that check mark. And when that happens, it does take you back. I'll never forget. But I remember, I think I came back into your stream, obviously, because I'm like, okay, I got to see what this guy's made of. And I'll never forget, right away, he reminded me, he was going off on somebody, but he reminded me of a high school friend of me and Ned Buttercup, and Ned Buttercup can attest to that. His name was Big Rob, and you are a spitting image of this guy. Not only looks, but how you act, how you like down to the music you listen to, down to like just your person, right? So like I instantly was like, holy cow. I even called him up. I'm like, dude, you got to see this guy. It's Big Rob. He's streaming. And so
I've never heard this story because I thought you hated me at first.
No. I was taken back. Because you were going off on somebody, and I can't. That's right when I came in, and you were just laying into somebody, in a game of Madden. But now knowing you, that's just how you roll. You'll score a touchdown on somebody and absolutely destroy this person's whole family, and it's not. And that's just how Madden is. And it's not a knock on you. It's just that and the guy on the other end's doing the same thing to you when he scores a touchdown. That's just how it is. It's just, that's the atmosphere. That's the temperature. And so I didn't understand that at first. So I was taken back, on top of, going off on another guy, and this and that. So you are what you are, and I love you regardless. So
you gave me my 3 weeks.
I gave you my 3 weeks. I always watch streamers for about 3 weeks. And lately it's turned into about 3 episodes. I've dialed it down. I can't, because some guys I'm like, all right. Yeah, I can't. But anyway, no, right away I was like, oh my goodness, this guy is a childhood friend of mine. I connected with you. We've said that, but I want to start getting into all Kep and all culture if we can. Born and raised in Philly.
Outside of Philly.
Just outside of Philly. Okay.
Yeah, outside, about 45 minutes outside of Philly, but I have aunts, uncles, cousins. I spent a lot of summers in Philly.
Okay, so a good part of your life is all Philly. I know you're...
You could say I was raised in Philly as much time as I spent there.
Sure. And what year were you born?
1981, baby.
1981. Nice. And
July 16th. I'm about to be 39 in a couple weeks.
Nice. So with the family being Philly born and raised, everybody, through and through, of course, Philly sports teams, all of them. Eagles,
All of them.
Phillies,
Everything.
yeah. And it's Die Hard. And there's nothing out. I've even heard you say there's nothing outside of Philly. Is that
not when it comes to sports? Nope.
Do you have any family members that aren't Philly fans? Like, do you have a random Cowboys fan?
I do. She's my cousin. She's like a sister to me.
Okay.
But she like I don't take her seriously. Like she'll try to she still tries to get me riled up, but I won't talk to her during football season.
Mm-hmm.
I love her to death. She's like a sister. She's like my little sister, but I don't talk to her during football season.
Taco says he loves his cousin. he's a Cowboy fan.
Yeah.
So now you're born and raised in Philly. Played Little League. Parents get you into sports as a youngster, or?
Yeah, I started playing t-ball at 4.
Okay.
Back then there was no coach pitch, so it was, you played t-ball till you were able to hit a ball off another kid. So, but yeah, t-ball. Oh man, baseball was my first love. I mean, that's how we got out of the city. When it was baseball time, we get out of the city, on the outskirts of the city, nice little park up on the hill. Schlegel Park is where I played. Well, no, Pagoda Park, because there's a pagoda in the city I grew up in, Reading, Pennsylvania. It's called the Reading Pagoda. Pagoda Park, nothing but t-ball fields up on the mountain. The pagoda's up on the mountain. The pagoda's not far from the baseball fields and t-ball fields. And then Schlegel Park, when I went, into other Little League, actually was on a team to go to Little League World Series, and then our coach got in trouble for fraud, so we weren't able to go to Williamsport for the Little League World Series.
Oh, heartbreaking.
Yeah,
so how did that work? That was built. Those were comprised of all-star teams, weren't they? So you play your Little League season, then you make the all-star team, and then that all-star team has a tournament, and then you qualify for Little League. Yeah, wow.
Right.
Okay, so playing Little League, and did you play any other sports as a youngin? You had to play them all, I would imagine, right?
I played soccer till I was about 9, and then I realized I was way more of an athlete, so I stopped playing soccer. Soccer's always so easy because you can play from and it's also the cheapest sport too.
Yeah.
But I liked soccer until I was about 9 or 10, and I was like, baseball is it for me. I played football. I played midget football. I would ride. My mom wouldn't take me to practice. I had to ride my bike from home to the park for football practice. But that was it as far as organized sports. Now I would play everything, basketball, like everything. I did play hockey. I did play ice hockey for a little while, and then it got too expensive. So once my little brothers came along, it was too expensive for me to play ice hockey. I stopped playing that. I did play as I got older. I played college baseball after I got out of the Marine Corps. I played semi-pro football.
No kidding.
I've played roller hockey. I've played everything, man.
Wow.
I was pretty athletic. I know looking at me now you can't tell, but in my heyday I was typically the best player on every team I ever played for.
Sure, all-star on every team. You made the all-star team.
Yeah.
And who got
captain and an all-star.
And who's the one who got you into sports? Is it mom? Was it dad? Who was the driving force?
My dad loved sports, but my dad was always working. My dad was a union president. He was a teamster, so he was always going. He was a hardworking man. That's where I got my hard-nosed, my work ethic from. Now, my mom taught me how to throw a ball. My mom would take me outside and we'd play catch. And then once, I think I was about 10 or 11, and I broke her orbital bone.
Off just like a missed catch or something.
Yeah, she was like, I'm done playing. I'm done playing catch with you. You throw too hard now.
Shit.
So, but she would actually play catch with me. My dad, again, was always working. I mean, he would go to games and stuff, but he wasn't the dad that was out there, playing catch or doing any of that stuff, just because he was always working. He was constantly working.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was business trips or actually at work. He was a steel worker, but he worked at a dye factory. Like he mixed dyes for like clothing and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, my mom. That's where I get my attitude and my bad side from, was my mom.
The fire from mom, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And so who was the one who was taking you to games and stuff as a kid?
My mom.
Your mom?
My mom loved it.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was the one. cussing out umpires, other parents, coaches. I don't know how many times my mom got kicked out of a game. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. Everyone was afraid of my mom. It was embarrassing.
So what age did you start to realize, okay, baseball is my deal right away, and you started taking serious high school or late little league, which we had seniors, which was 90-foot bases, juniors and seniors was 90-foot bases, and then you go into high school. When did you start taking it serious?
I want to say 8th grade maybe.
Okay.
I'm going to say 8th grade when the varsity coach came to me and said, you know, we probably got some spots for the playoffs because it was like major leagues. Like once you got to the playoffs, you could extend your rosters.
Okay.
And I think I pinch ran in a high school varsity playoff game in 8th grade. I got the pinch run for our star shortstop. He was our star pitcher too. He actually ended up getting drafted by the Blue Jays. Joe Casey was his name. He got hurt and I got the pinch run for him. Ended up scoring a run that game. On a single I scored from second base. I ended up pinch running, and that was my first, you know, experience with big time baseball because our baseball program was pretty good in my high school. Nice. So yeah, I think 8th grade when the varsity coach came to me and said, "Hey, we're getting our rosters extended. We want you to come sit on the bench and experience the playoffs and whatnot."
You made the 40 man.
Yeah, I made the 40-man roster for the playoffs.
You gotta love it.
Call up.
Yeah, the September call up. You gotta love that.
Because back then I could fly.
Uh-huh. And
I was running the 60 and 6 flat.
Damn, that's picking them up and putting them down. What was your main position?
Shortstop.
Did you move around at all? Did you pitch at all, or did
I pitched a lot from the time I could, you know, from the time we pitched. I pitched, played shortstop. That was all I played. If I wasn't pitching, I was playing shortstop. When I played little league ball, I pitched damn near every game because then there was no innings restriction.
Yeah.
So I would pitch damn near every game.
Yeah.
The only games my little league team won are the games I pitched. I swear to God. And then when I got into high school, I made the varsity team as a 9th grader, obviously, and because we had really good players, so I made the team as a right fielder because I had a good arm and I could run. The guy that played center field was a little bit faster, had a little bit better arm, but he was a senior. So of course, you know, he's 17 years old. I'm 15. Yeah. Of course, he'll be, you know, a little bit more mature, a little bit, you know, whatever. But it wasn't long before the coach realized that his freshman was better than his senior shortstop. So I moved into shortstop. But I moved around in high school. I didn't pitch until my junior year. Because I wasn't throwing like velocity wise, wasn't throwing that hard. I was probably throwing mid to low 80s.
Wait, so you were a freshman and you stole a senior spot?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was way better than him at shortstop. So the seniors didn't like me because of that. I didn't have no friends on the team because they hated that I took the guy's spot.
Wow.
But he moved me around. Like I played right field, I played center field. But now my senior year, it was. And the same thing with Legion ball. When I tried out for the Legion team, a senior from a rival school, like my Legion team was like 3 schools from the area. So there was always big tryouts for this team. So I made the team as an outfielder, and maybe into 4 or 5 practices, the coach realized, yo, he's better than the shortstop, and he was a rival. We couldn't stand each other. So he didn't like me at all from the get. So they moved him to second base. And again, it was like, I'm the little guy, I'm the young guy. Nobody on the Legion team liked me because I stole the star player spot. So it wasn't until I was the top dog, I was the senior, I was that I'd made friends, and, you know, we all got along and stuff. Because that was the hardest thing with our Legion team, is because the 3 schools, we were all rivals during the high school season. Then we'd all come together to play Legion ball.
Right.
So it was tough for our Legion coaches to bring everybody together once the season started.
I could imagine.
I had a couple of Marty Bystrom was a World Series pitcher for the Phillies. He was my pitching coach for Legion ball.
Okay.
So I learned a lot about pitching when I started playing Legion ball.
It's interesting. We have a similar story. I was that senior that had his position stolen by a freshman. Yeah. So, I mean, what are you gonna do, right? Well, in my case, it was the coach's son and the coach, or not coach's son. I'm sorry, a booster's son. and the guy gave all kinds of money to the school, and I didn't actually lose. I did lose my position. I moved to third. I was the shortstop, and then I got moved to third, so this freshman can come in. And man, did that hurt. That stung, man. But I made the best of it anyway.
I love baseball, man. There was nothing like being on a baseball field.
Yeah.
There was nothing like it. I was highly touted in high school. I made a couple all county teams. I made an all-star team, which is called the Carpenter Cup.
Okay.
It's the tri-state area of Pennsylvania, Jersey, Delaware, and I think it's it. Like it's a conglomerate of a bunch of different high school all-stars from that area. Actually, it was just Pennsylvania, but we would play New Jersey and Delaware. They would comprise their teams, and then we'd all play at Veterans Stadium. I got to play 3 innings at Veterans Stadium, and then my Legion team was having a big tournament at Penn State. So I wasn't playing much because of how the team was. There were so many great players on the team. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go play in this Legion tournament because I'm gonna play every inning. I'm not gonna sit the bench.
Right.
I don't care if I'm in Veterans Stadium. I'm gonna go help my Legion team win a championship, and came up short. But I just loved playing, man. There was nothing like being on a baseball field. Nothing.
Yeah. Still to this day, I miss it, man. What about siblings? You got any siblings?
I've got 2 younger brothers. My middle brother's name's Steven. He was born in '84.
Oh, okay.
And then my baby brother was born in '89. My baby brother still lives in Pennsylvania, and my middle brother lives in Delaware.
So you're the oldest, you said?
I'm the oldest of 3 boys.
You're the oldest of 3 boys. Nice. You're a big brother. And what's your relationship with like them? You guys still keep in touch, or?
My baby brother, every now and then I hit him up. If he hits me up, like I know he needs to talk to somebody, because ever since my dad passed away, it's the dynamic between us 3 is has changed a little bit because we all deal with it in different ways. My dad passed away in 2011, so I was like 30 years old. So we were young. You don't typically.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, and I'm just saying from my experience, I'm sure people way younger have lost their father even when they were kids or whatnot. But at 30, and we didn't know, it was unexpected. So once we got everything situated with my dad's estate and whatnot, we pretty much went our separate ways. My brother moved out of Pennsylvania to Delaware, and he's got his own life. My baby brother's got his own life. He's got a couple kids. So, it's like we were close growing up, but my family dynamic was probably not completely different, but it just wasn't like, I don't know. My mom was the driving force of our family dynamic. So.
I got an interesting question for you. Being the oldest brother, but you mentioned that you were smaller in stature when you were younger. So that had to have been a moment where, did you get bullied? Did you get pushed around outside of the house by others?
No. The only time something ever happened, I was walking home from school, and because I grew up in the inner city, we would walk to elementary school. The middle school was right across the street. So I was walking home from school one day, and a couple older kids jumped me from my book bag. I got a Nike book bag. They jumped me from my book bag, and it was only a couple houses away from my house. And my mom would wait on the stoop for me to come home. And she saw what happened. She come down and whooped the shit out of, I think it was like 3 or 4 kids. I can't remember, but she beat the hell out of all of them. Got my book bag back. That's the only time. I was always like, when I lived in the city, like when I grew up there, it wasn't until we moved out of the city later on, when I was in 8th grade, and we moved to the outskirts of the city, and I was bused to a different school, which was a completely different world to me from where I was used to. Then I didn't really get bullied. I was just, I had a couple friends. I had a few friends. Wasn't really, big into, cliques and going to parties and all this other stuff. But no, that was the only time I ever ran into a problem. With that story, those kids went and got their moms, brought their moms to our house, and my mom beat the hell out of their moms too.
Oh boy, looks like you're not messing with that house. They learned, that whole neighborhood learned real quick. My
mom was sweeping off the stoop, and she brought the broom when she saw it happen. She brought the broom down. So all 3 of those kids got their ass wet with a broom.
And what about your little brothers? Did they ever deal with anything? No,
not that I can recall, because we were I mean, we were pretty. My little brothers were pretty athletic too. They were into sports, so you know the best way to combat bullying is be athletic. Join a team. Join a you know.
Telling you.
I don't ever recall. No, I didn't have to worry about my brothers being bullied or no, I don't know.
Nice.
We got bullied at home. We didn't get bullied at school. We got bullied at home.
Right. Yeah. Moving forward, you mentioned you played a little college ball. So
I did.
Yeah. After high school, you get to the college scene, and what was that like? What was the final end of baseball for you?
It wasn't even after high school because after high school I joined the Marine Corps.
Oh, okay. So there was that. Yeah. There's a space.
Right after high school I joined the Marine Corps.
Let's back up to that then. Let's back up to that, or do you want to go forward? Then
we can.
Yeah. So okay. So you get out of high school, and right away you'd think you would go play baseball, but you didn't. You decide I'm gonna take this route, and you join the Marine Corps. Can you talk to us about that?
My senior year, for some reason, I knew I was good. Like I didn't act like I knew I was good. I wasn't a shit talker. I was just nose down, play ball, 110%, hustle, leader, all that. I wasn't very, vocal towards other people until after the Marine Corps. But I knew I was good enough. I knew there were scouts there watching other players because there was a couple kids that I played with that did get drafted. Went on to play college ball and get drafted. I knew I was being watched as well as they were, but I wasn't getting no letters. I wasn't getting any, and at that time, scouts and stuff had to get permission for some stalking rule. I don't freaking know.
Yeah, I remember you would get letters from schools and stuff, right. and scouts I think had to follow the same protocol.
Right. Yeah. So. And my high school coach was lazy. He was lazy. He was at the end of his tenure as a teacher and a coach and whatnot. He was lazy. He wouldn't tell me anything. Well, I didn't find out about this till after my parents got divorced, that because my dad was scared of my mom too. But I didn't find out till later that I was getting letters, but my mom was throwing them away.
What?
My mom was throwing the letters from colleges away, and my dad said there was at least a couple dozen letters that had been to the house that I never knew about. She would just rip them up and throw them away. Her excuse was, when I confronted her about it at that time, was that she didn't want me leaving home.
That's my first initial instinct right there. She didn't want you to leave.
She thought I was a mama's boy. I wasn't a mama's boy. I mean, I loved my mom, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't a mama's boy. I respected my mom. I loved her because if I didn't, she'd beat the crap out of me.
Right.
No matter what we did, whether it was put away a dirty dish, we didn't do our chores, we got a bad grade, we were getting beat like it was a street fight. So, I respected her and loved her just because I had to.
Yeah, that's nothing. That's no way to grow up your fist fighting mom,
If you're an old, I never hit her back ever. I said something one time, mom, that's child abuse. She's like, come here, I'll show you what child abuse is, and I ended up in the hospital.
Jeez.
So, but if you older guys, if you know that movie Mommy Dearest, she makes Mommy Dearest look like Mother Teresa. I've got burn marks on my arm from getting burned with cigarette lighters, car lighters. I mean,
So strange because she seemed like such a supportive person on the one end with the baseball and being there at the games for you and cheering you on, and then on the next, and then was there any sort of an addiction issue or?
Yeah, she had. As the years went on, the older I got, and she'd be taking multiple pills a day, going to the doctor, coming up with diagnosis, like she'd come up with symptoms, she'd research symptoms, tell the doctor she had these symptoms, and then she'd be prescribed pills and all this other stuff. So that attributed to it, no doubt.
Sure. And I mean, and how old were you when you found that out?
20, 21 maybe.
So that had to piss you off. Or did you feel bad? Or did it open up a sense of maybe why?
Yeah, I tried to have a relationship with her, and it just got worse and worse and worse and worse. And I probably haven't talked to my mom since the day of my dad's funeral.
Wow.
And that was only the second time I've talked to her since a very long time. I probably talked to my mom twice in the last 15 years.
Mm-hmm. And you know, just the fact that she threw those letters away, that's gotta be only a piece of why. I mean, there's probably deeper issues than that, but
Well,
yeah, it's tough.
she didn't. I had mentioned the service to her. She said no. So I was 17 because I didn't turn 18 till July. So a week after I graduated high school, I had talked to a recruiter, because you know recruiters for the military come to your high school and whatnot, and you can actually talk to them.